To our most respected guests, our former mentors, and of course to all the former students who are now indeed grown-ups, a pleasant evening. Here's a toast for those wonderful people who are with us here and to our friendship that will forever last. Welcome to our batch 2008 Grand Reunion. Let us now face the reality. We are not anymore the teenagers who used to have outings and hangouts. We are already grown-ups and now facing another phase in our lives. It is my privilege to speak in front of my former classmates, who are now respected professionals, personalities, and even famous in their respective fields. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as I call your names so that we can find out if we still recognize each other. Who can't remember this girl who is known for her bravery, enthusiasm, and charm? She's a former SK Kagawad and now one of the most respected licensed medical technologists in our country. So friends, let's welcome Ms. Gwen May Granaderos. In spite of the nursing licensure examination leakage that was scrutinized 10 years ago, there are still some of my former classmates who pursued their dream of becoming a licensed nurse. One of them is a close friend of mine to whom I always borrow DVDs of my favorite Korean novellas. Well, if you're into Korean novella, you've got to see none other than Miss Diane Margaret Cortez. Next is a total performer who can sing, act, and of course, dance. I really can't forget this guy who sold tarts in our class and even the person who popularized the expression, "Exudge." Well, I guess you already know him. A hand please for Mr. Tart, Mr. Kenneth Hentugaya. One of the licensed nurses here in our country is also a former SK Kagawad who now works in the Philippine General Hospital. She's also a good dancer and considered one of the pretty faces of our batch. Let's give a hand to Ms. Marjorie Sinsano. The next one that I will call is considered the goddess of badminton. She also has the guts of being a model. Who I am talking to is none other than Ms. Nikakara Dumalaga. The next one that I will call is a silent type of girl. In spite of being silent and shy, she's now one of the Filipino nurses working in the Tokyo General Hospital. Everyone, let's give a hand for Ms. Cherith Brooke Mahipus. Another renowned nurse in the world is known for his handsome looks. He's one of the crush ng campus in our school. Without so much ado, may I call on Mr. Jugo Raymond Escalante. Last but not the least, is a person who is known for her expertise playing musical instruments and is a former member of the band called Kinders. I am talking to Ms. Mary Joy Suico. If we have classmates who are now medical technologists and licensed nurses, I am also proud to present to you our classmates who are now doctors. Well, if you are suffering from any illnesses, diseases, and have some problems with your health, all you have to do is contact them. Let us start with this girl who is famous for her chinky eyes. Thus, we used to call her Picot. She is also an avid reader of books like Harry Potter. Let's all welcome Miss Julie May Roferos. Another person to call on is known for her beauty and friendly traits. She is very kikay and a studious person. The one I'm talking to is none other than Miss Christine K. Granada. Next, this chinita and typical girl is one of my best buds 10 years ago. We used to work in our school publication and we considered her as a mathematician. Well, let's give it up for Miss Carol Joyce Pahayak. Another doctor in our class is an avid fan of Avril Lavigne. She is also an intelligent student and a God-fearing person. Well guys, let's welcome Miss Marie Angeli Prudencio. If we have doctors and nurses, our batch has also two of the most renowned dentists in our time. Let me start with, she is now managing her own dental clinic located in Shangri-La Hotel, Ms. Nicola Austria. Another famous dentist used to be a naughty student when we were still classmates. Who would have thought that this naughty guy now transformed into one of the respected dentists in our country? And for the information of everybody, he just recently opened his first dental clinic located at Marco Polo Hotel. Guys, help me welcome Mr. Kelvin Jane Horat. From medical specialist, we are now down to business tycoons in our generation. Who would believe that these silent girls are now some of the richest businesswomen in our country? Let's give it up for the owners of Saramillas and Lumangtad Corporations. We have Miss Genevieve Saramillas, Cherokee Joyce Lumangtad. Due to fast modernization of our country, we find a great need in terms of transportation. And speaking of transportation, do you know that the newest owner of Makibishi Motors is our former classmate? Well, you've got to believe me. The person behind the success of this company is none other than Mr. Kirby Makigod. Another successful businessman in our batch is Mr. Christian Vio Vicente. He now owns a buy and sell business and ranked as the 51st richest man in the Philippines. Our batch also gave birth to some of the billionaires in our nation today. For the information of everybody, today's richest Filipino is an Assumptionist. Well, I'm talking about Mrs. Belisenia Abad Bonifacio. Next is one of the most influential millionaires in the society. Guys, help me welcome Ms. Maricris Nunez. From the group of business tycoons, let us now move to the respected personalities in the field of arts. The Supreme Student Council president way back 10 years ago is now famous for her contributions in the Philippine arts. She is none other than Miss Cristina Hamor. Next in line is the official fashion designer of Hollywood stars like Jamie Lynn Spears and Lindsay Lohan. Let's welcome international fashion designer Miss Irene Jean Siscon. We also have great painters in our country. In fact, the two of them recently launched their art exhibit in Marco Polo Hotel and Shangri-La Hotel. Let's give it up for the two prodigies of arts in history, Ms. Shara Directo and Mr. F. Jan Kervin Santiago. Our batch also has a renowned composer of our time. He follows the footsteps of Mr. Ryan Cayabyab, who is not only a musician but also a composer. Please help me welcome the person behind the songs, Ikaw ang Number 1, Melancholy of My Roses, and Junjun, the one who we used to call Mr. Nice, Maestro Nelson Amporado Jr. Our batch also have the group of famous vocalists and music icons. We have Mr. Arthur Balahay, who is now part of the band called Emos, and Mr. Noor Casilin and Mr. Rindy Garcia, the official vocalist of said band. Guys, let's give these musical geniuses a warm applause. We are also proud that in our batch, we have a lot of respected engineers. The first one is now the official electric engineer of our city. Guys, let's welcome Mr. Jesse Gado. Well, if you are planning to build your own house or even a structure of your business establishment, all you have to do is contact these persons: Engineer Xavier Cerces Padernal, Engineer Paul Greg Biaca, Engineer Catherine May Urbano, and Engineer Kenneth Sherwin Gula. So guys, please stand up to be recognized. We also have certified public accountants in our batch: Ms. Noeline Manlangit, Ms. Grace Baruiz, Miss Cindy Corregidor, Miss Jason Love Alcoran recently passed the licensure examination. Another successful accountant is a guy whom I considered a great mathematician. Let's give it up for Mr. Romel Palero. Computer programmers are also in demand today. We are proud that two of the computer programming prodigies came from our batch. The girl who we used to call Poste is now a programmer who has traveled to different countries in accordance to her call of duty. I am referring to Miss Catherine Silmaro. Another programmer is Mr. Glenn Paulo Malalis, who is working now in a well-known company. Aside of being a programmer, he's also known in European countries for his piano compositions. We also have former classmates who are now famous in the field of cooking, or shall I say popular in terms of food matters. Who among you can still remember the teleserye Isabela? Well, if ABS-CBN has Izay as the queen of cooking, we also have Shibay. She's now an international chef and recently competed with America's Pride, Bobby Flay. Let's welcome Chef Shiba Reyes. Meantime, we also have Chef Peter Ray Pasiones, who just came from Europe after studying culinary arts. We also have Maria Irene Cassandra Vega, who's now a famous food technologist. On the other hand, Professor John Ray Duran is one of our former classmates. Who would believe that this naughty guy would turn out into a successful and influential professor of Asunta University? Well, we can really never predict what's in store for us after all. Our batch also gave birth to two of the most in-demand dermatologists in the world. Are you familiar of the Hilton and Michelangelo's Essentials? Well, if you are, would you believe that the persons behind these beauty products came from our batch? Believe me, if you have some face problems like acne, pimples, and even blackheads, all you have to do is contact Mr. Michelangelo Macabenta. Another person to call on is Mr. Erich Nicolo Estabilio, who recently launched his newest derma clinic in the city. We also have former classmates who are now active officials of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Let's welcome our respected armies. A hand for Chief of Staff Daryl Asentista and Brigadier General Shelo Ramos. From different fields, we also have former classmates who are now successful and living peacefully with their families. Mr. Dan Vincent Lumangtad, who is now a seaman, is now married to Miss Maricris Ann Padonia. This man that I am about to call is probably the most successful among us all. From his position now in our country, I could really conclude that this man really changed. Ladies and gentlemen, with due respect, let's give a hand to the President of the Republic of the Philippines, President June Cesar Linaw. I remember when I was on my way to South Korea, I accidentally met three of our former classmates. Mr. Marbury Hilias, who worked as an aircraft mechanic, and Miss Nova Paderanga, who happened to be the flight stewardess of the plane I was riding. When I arrived on the place, I saw Mr. Newart Mangilimutan, who was at the same time a translator. Wait, are you familiar with the MOR Killer B station? Have you ever wondered to whom is the voice behind this radio station? Well, here she is, DJ Leslie Canuto, now signing on. We also have a former classmate who is now famous in America. Who would believe that a joker, a versatile rapper, and a good actor in our role-playing activities would turn into a famous NBA player? The man I'm talking to is Mr. Nisael Cantong. We also have former classmates who are now successful owners of renowned photo studios in the country. Who would have thought that this classmate, who we used to call Baby, is now the owner of Baby Carl's Photo Studio. He's now the official photographer of Hollywood icons like Akon and Beyonce. Let us all welcome Mr. Carl Palumata. From Hollywood actors, another renowned person in the country is the official photographer of Korean stars like Rain and Lee Dong-wook. She was recently married to a business tycoon and a politician in the person of Honorable DeCarlo Uy. Let us all welcome Mrs. Rona Flor Arambala Uy. Another business tycoon in our country today is the exporter of banana chips. For the information of everybody, this businessman recently released his newest product in the market. We have the Banana Chips Delight Cookies. Well, you have to catch that new product, and let us all welcome the student who we used to call the great speaker, Mr. Rory Cosmenio. On the other hand, if you need the place where you can have your stay, all you have to do is contact Mr. Donald Soriano, the owner of Hotel Soriano. Another person to call is Miss Katrina May Roble, who is now the owner of Hotel Katrina. Meantime, one of our former classmates is now working in a 5-star hotel in the United States. Who would have thought that this naughty guy is now one of the most rich Filipinos abroad? Well, let's give it up for Mr. Rudy Escorzon. But wait, do you know that 7 of our former classmates are part of the 100 most influential businessmen and businesswomen in the country? Well, you've got to believe me. Miss Christine May Cabang, an investor in our country, ranked 10th place in the list. Miss Stephanie Blanche Cabipil, a restaurant owner, on the 9th place. Miss Lucy Galiana, the owner of Sugbaan sa Davao, landed on the 5th place. On the 4th place is Maya Danica Torres, the owner of El Torres Restaurant. Miss Irina Gracie Gamino, a Japanese restaurant owner, landed on the 3rd place, and Miss Bernadine Prieto, the Starbucks owner, landed on the 2nd place. The title of being the most influential businessman was grabbed by Mr. Tony Michael Viduya, the owner of El Viduya Valleys. Last but not the least, our batch also gave birth to one of the most respected and outstanding journalists in our country. She's now famous in her columns in the Philippine Daily Inquirer, titled as Fearless Views, and is now currently teaching broadcast communication in the University of the Philippines. Well, please help me welcome the person behind the editorials that you read almost every day. Please give a hand to myself, yours truly, Pamela May Engaño. So congratulations to all the wonderful people who have gathered here tonight. Here's to a night filled with fun, laughter, and nostalgia. Once again, thank you so much for having me here, and of course, you guys better enjoy the night. So thank you so much, and I miss you all.